This is Fight Fans Radio.
I've been playing a lot of top, so if people want to sit on their butt, then fine, I'll embrace it, you know. I'll play their strong suit, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe their bottom's not as good as they think. I'm not too sure, but no, I do not jump guard ever. I mean, there's been times where I wish, fuck, man, I should have pulled guard maybe.
Yeah.
But well, you don't know that until I'm getting power doubled by a collegiate wrestler. You know, one guy did a fireman carry on me during a tournament match. I was kind of embarrassed. Like, live, I've never been hit with, like, I've drilled the move and seen it, but I never got hit with one. I thought it would never work.
Yeah.
Fireman's carry. What do you think of that move?
I don't like it. I'm a shooter, so.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, a shooter, like you shoot for takedowns.
Yeah.
Whew, man, I was worried.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like the basics of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like all the, I don't know, because sometimes it could backfire, like wrestling takedowns, you know, so. Yeah. That's my opinion.
Hey, all right. Hello?
Yes, hello.
Oh, hello. Welcome to BJJ ADDICT Radio. Thank you very much for calling in. We're live right now with Anthony Perosh, folks, so let's get started. How are you doing today?
Oh, great. It's a bit of a chilly Wednesday morning here. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning, and we got my first training session at 10 o'clock this morning.
Wow, that's so weird to hear because, you know, we're 7 p.m. right now, and we've already trained, so it's kind of funny when we talk from people all over. So let's get into it. How is your training camp going? And we know you got a big fight coming up with Vinnie Magalhaes, and how's training going for that?
Training's going great. You know, I've already been training about six weeks now, and it's just under a month to go. The first 2 weeks of my camp, I stayed here in Sydney. The next 3 weeks, I went to Thailand to do some training at Phuket Top Team. And now I'm back in Sydney to finish the fight camp, but everything's going great. Training's great, weight's coming off, and touch wood, you know, keeping the injuries in check.
Nice. When you heard you had a matchup with Vinny, you know, did this type of fight excite you at all? I've seen there's been I'm not sure if you follow some of the stuff he said, but there's been a little bit of trash talking going on.
Look, well, originally I asked for this match.
Nice.
I was the one who asked for this match, you know, for a lot of reasons, and the main reason is, you know, we're both coming off one loss, so the fight makes sense, and on paper, and you know, we're both two BJJ black belts, and I've never fought a BJJ black belt in MMA. I've had 20 MMA matches, but haven't ever fought anyone. A BJJ black belt. I've always had the advantage on the ground, so I thought, it'd be a good test for me, and what better way to do it than in Brazil?
Absolutely, and someone as decorated as him, how do you change the way you train for a fight now? Since you said you've never fought a BJJ black belt, or does things?
No, not at all. Not at all. Like all of my training camps, I always bring in top boxers, top kickboxers, top wrestlers, top BJJ black belts. So I train for every fighter that's the same. You know, I work on my striking every day. And then, you know, every other day I alternate wrestling and BJJ. So it hasn't been any real change because, you know, don't forget this is an MMA match. It's not a BJJ match.
Good point.
How did you get into the sport of mixed martial arts, and what was like the first style that you learned?
The very, very first style was like a traditional karate style, which I only did for about 6 months. I got a little bit bored with it, and then from there I moved to a different style of karate in Thai kickboxing. So I was actually a Thai kickboxer for a year and a half before I even found out about BJJ. But then when I found out about BJJ, everything kind of took a back seat, and I just did BJJ for about 10 years. I did really well in competitions. Won the local comps and the state comps and national comps, and I won a couple of bronze medals at the World Championships as a blue and a brown belt. And then going into MMA was just kind of a natural progression. I really loved competing, really loved testing myself, and at the time I was a brown black belt. MMA was just kicking in, so I give it a go.
Now, I've heard before that you were the first ever black belt in Australia, but I've never had confirmation. So since we have you on here, is this a true story?
No, I'm the third or fourth black belt.
Nice. And can you just let us know what? Oh, sorry. Go on.
But the two guys. Just I think third or fourth, somewhere around there. There's a couple of black belts, like older guys that they're in their 50s now. They started a long time before I did.
Can you just let us know what it was like in the early years, you starting off at white belt, and what the scene was like in Australia, and how it differs from how you learn today? Well,
my very first BJJ class was under a blue belt. And in my city and state, that was the highest rank at the time. That was January '96, and now, and I stayed there for about a year and a half under a blue belt, and I thought I need to learn this from the source. So I packed up, sold everything in Sydney, and I moved to Dallas, Texas, where I lived for 3 years. And trained under Carlos Machado, and I got there as a white belt, and he graded me to blue and purple before I left. And then I kept going backwards and forwards from Sydney to Dallas, until I got my black belt, and then I still do that now. Last year I came to Dallas, but this year Carlos Machado, he came to Sydney. But it's a huge difference now. Like when I have 2 full-time martial arts academies, and now my students who are starting, they're not starting under a blue belt. They're starting under, I'm a 3rd-degree black belt. My business partner, Elvis Sinisic, is a 3rd-degree black belt. We've got 6 black belts as well. So, and a host of browns and purples and blues. So all these new white belts who are now starting, they've got a hugely rich mat of colored belts to train with, whereas, when I first started, it was, the instructor was a blue. So it's come a long way, and it's still a long way to grow as well.
With that being said, as an instructor to the students, when you see white and blue belts doing some of the stuff today, does that make you happy as a coach, or does it frustrate you that they have so many tools to learn quicker? Like, is it hard to teach people that they could go on the internet, or they've seen some new DVD and they can learn a lot faster, and they might be skipping some important steps? Or do you encourage them to kind of evolve fast?
Both ways. I think an instructor is very important. He's got to teach you, all the basics, the fundamentals, the essential moves. You have to go to an instructor for that, and you have to go to class and and grapple other students and actually to learn to apply the techniques. So, if you do that first, like you use your coach and your school and your training partners as your main training, and then you can use YouTube and DVDs and all that thing as like supplementary. That's fine. That's no problem as long as. But if someone asked to do an upside down inverted move, but they can't even keep posture in closed guard, it's like they need to go back and learn their basics and fundamentals first. I'm really big on that. And then all the more difficult moves are easier to learn, because you've already got that good posture. So to answer your question, I encourage it, but as long as they learn my moves first. I have a very detailed curriculum, and they have to learn that, and it's built around fundamentals and essential moves. So they have to learn that first, and then they can, I encourage them to go and explore other techniques.
Nice. Jumping back to UFC 163, August 3rd in Brazil, real quick. Yep. Other than him having the Brazilian crowd behind him, I know it will not be a grappling match, but did it worry you at all that his pedigree in grappling is so high?
No, because I've wrestled other BJJ black belts, like current BJJ black belts, who in the world championships now, and they medal, and I do, and that's in the gi, and I do very well with them. Like they might beat me 2-0 or 4-0 or 3-3, whatever, but I do very well with them. My BJJ is great as well. But like I said, it's an MMA match, and when punches and elbows are involved, it's a different story. But I'll be honest. With any top BJJ black belt, it's going to be more difficult from the bottom. So I'm going to do my best to stay off my back and be in the top position rather.
Can you take us through your typical day training for for this fight? And what do you do differently? What do you do differently when you take the fight, as opposed to just like training on the regular?
In the off season, I just try and do at least one class per day. So let's say I might do BJJ Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday I'll do striking, and then every second morning I'll do some weights and running. So that's kind of in the off season. But then when the fight camp starts, it's 2-a-days. In the morning, I usually do all my conditioning, my running, my weights, sprints, all that sort of training. And then at night, I usually do pick 2 out of the 3 styles. So Monday I might do BJJ and striking, and then Tuesday I'll do BJJ and wrestling. And then Wednesday I'll do striking and wrestling. And the sessions in the morning about, say, maybe hour and a half, and sessions at night maybe 2 hours, 2.5. And rest is important too. So got to fit in a bit of rest in there as well.
How do you stay hungry after all these years of combative arts? I mean, I believe you're 41. I mean, does it ever get to a point?
Hey, come on! I'm 40. I'm turning 41.
I apologize. I know it does make a difference.
Actually, I think it's because like my birthday is 5th of October, which is 5th to the 10th. So in Australia, we write the date 5-10-13, whereas you'd put the month first. I think some people get confused that my birthday is 10th of May rather than 5th of October.
Actually, I think you're right. I check it up, and it does say what you just explained. So that's kind of funny. That's why I thought you were 41. So 40 years old. How do you stay hungry? And you know, do you ever think that it is getting to the end, or do you feel like you're still just evolving every day?
A bit of everything. Like every fight, I'm getting better. Every fight camp, I'm getting better. Every week, every month, you know, I'm getting better. It's just now it's a matter of time whether my body can keep up. You know, I started my MMA career late. Like, I didn't have my first match until I was 31. Because all I did before that was BJJ. So, you know, I keep telling myself, and, you know, other people, other interviews I do, I say, look, you know, I'll retire on my terms, and I'll know when to retire. You know, when one of three things happen, if my body can't keep up with the training, you know, that's a good time to retire. But at the moment, you know, I'm super fit. Everything's going well. You know, second reason, if I lose more matches than I win, you know, I think it's time to retire. And finally, you know, if you don't want it anymore, like you know, like you said, you know, how do I stay hungry? You're just like any competitor. I just at the moment, I really want it. You know, I want to get better. I want to fight. I want to win. I want to keep moving up the ranks. And you know, I'm not ready to go anywhere yet.
Question. Can you take us through like the very beginnings of doing like your first MMA fight as an amateur? Did you, you know, one day sit down and say, hey, I want to be a UFC fighter, or did that just naturally happen? And like, how did you deal with like the mental side of you know, being an MMA fighter?
When I first started, there weren't any amateur MMA, so my first MMA match was a pro fight. That's why maybe it took me a bit longer to have my first fight. Like, I really wanted to have an advantage when I had my MMA. So, you know, I think 6 months before my first MMA match, I received my black belt in BJJ. So, you know, I had that advantage on the ground. But I guess it's just like any other sports, whether you just do BJJ competition or MMA or really any other sport. I think I personally believe there's a big correlation between the mental and physical. So if you have a great training camp and you're fit and you've done absolutely everything you can, then really there shouldn't be any reason to be nervous. I mean, you always get those, you know, butterflies, kind of excitement butterflies. But if you have a great training camp, you'll be prepared, and you know, you could give you 100 cliches such as, you know, luck is for the unprepared. But the harder you train, the better fight camp you have. You know, the more confident you'll be going into the match.
Guys, I was wondering, as a fighter, and maybe you don't have time to reflect sometimes on things, but how is this time different being into the UFC opposed to the first time around 6-7 years ago? Did you have a chance to think about, wow, it's 2013 and I'm in the UFC, opposed to the first time where it was just maybe you didn't enjoy it as much? Or do you enjoy it more this time? That's what I'm trying to get at.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like back in 2006, you know, it was a bit of a blur, and I only had 6 matches under my belt when I had those UFC matches, and I was a heavyweight as well, so I was in the wrong division. So, you know, looking back on it, I didn't really enjoy it at all. But as soon as I had my first match back as a light heavyweight, you know, in February 2011, you know, I made a conscious effort to enjoy every moment, you know, from when I arrived to the hotel to you know, the interviews, the weigh-in, and, you know, walking out to the fight. You know, I really make a conscious effort to you know, suck it all in and acknowledge it, because it really helps too. You know, and it's a good testament to that you've made it to the UFC and that you're going to win in the UFC, and it really brings up a lot of energy getting ready for the fight too.
Nice. Do you think there's an advantage to starting later age for this sport? Like, you see a lot of people people are calling them washed up or done, and they're only 28 years old, but they've had like 50, 60 fights or something crazy. Do you think it's better? Go on.
I think one of my white belt BJJ students actually said it best, and it was quite insightful from him. And he says it's not the age of the car, but how many miles it's done. So for myself, I started my first match when I was 31. I've had 20 fights, whereas some other people, they had their first fight when they're 18 or 19 or 20, and they've had 40 fights and they're 30 years old. And like you said, they just looked washed up and beat up and just losing more matches than winning. And so I just think you have that span, whether it's 10 years, whether it's 12 years, whether it's 20 fights, 30 fights, whatever. That's how I kind of look at it. So whether you start young, if you start young, you're going to finish young. If you start late, you can go a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's super insightful to use that analogy. I'm just wondering if you could weigh in on the Chris Weidman the victory, one of the biggest upsets in UFC history. What was your take on that fight, and did you actually see that coming?
Look, I'm getting sick in my stomach again because I love Anderson Silva.
Yeah. And
as soon as he started showboating, I had to turn away. I almost got up and went to the bathroom. It was making me sick in my stomach. That why would he do that? Why just beat Anderson, beat him up? Why? I'm still disappointed about it, but I guess you got to learn the hard way sometimes. But you think fighters would learn to respect other fighters. Just recently, look what happened to Alex Overeem.
Oh yeah.
Against Bigfoot. Do you think that would be enough for fighters to say, I actually better not showboat and do my thing? But now Anderson's done it, and he got beat up in his own game. So he's a world-class striker, and Chris Weidman is a wrestler, and Chris Weidman beat him in his own game, which is even more embarrassing. But
yeah,
I'm hoping Anderson gets the first rematch, and he comes back as Anderson.
Yeah, I really hope so. Personally, I hope he does that.
Look, I like Chris Weidman. I like him a lot. He's a top wrestler and top BJJ. Is he brown belt or black belt, or what's Chris Weidman?
I actually do not know his belt rank, but but he's
great on the ground too. Like top BJJ game, and I like Chris Weidman a lot, but I just didn't want Anderson Silva to lose the way he did. That's all.
Absolutely.
How do you see the fight if they were to have a rematch? How do you see the fight against Silva and Weidman go down?
I reckon it'll be a backwards and forwards, but I'd like Anderson to just keep sticking and moving, keep not showboating, but really use his strikes and keep moving and keep avoiding that takedown. And Chris Weidman will probably do the same thing, like rush him and get him down, because that's definitely Anderson Silva's weakness, is wrestling defense and fighting off his back on the ground. Definitely has a big weakness. But I just want if the match happened again, if I was Chris's coach, I would just tell him, look, just set up your takedowns, get him down and keep him down. And if I was Anderson's coach, I would say, look, you just strike, hurt him on his feet, so all his shots become slower. But I definitely keep those hands up and no showboating.
I like your advice for Anderson. I hope he takes those. So before we let go, I was just wondering, make a prediction for your fight. I don't know if you do that or not. If you don't, then don't bother. But just wondering what you, maybe any insight to how your fight's going to go down August 3rd in Brazil.
Well, I'm gonna have my hand raised at the end of the match, and I'll do a TKO from the mount or back, second round. Nice.
I like that. Well, good luck. We're going to be watching. I was actually really excited, by the way, when I heard this matchup. I thought it was a really good matchup for the fans, and I think it was a great matchup.
I think that's why one of the reasons I chose it. It looks like a good match on paper. So
yeah, it's excellent.
Now I just need to bring it on 3rd of August.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be rooting for you, and thanks for taking time out and speaking to us. Hope you have a good
no problem.
day.
My pleasure. Thanks for the invitation.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
I like that call. A good TKO from mount or back.
Yeah, and I think he's gonna win. To be honest with you, truthfully.
Good. I like hearing that, man. If Vinny was on, though, you'd be like, "Hey, Vinny."
I don't know. I was never a big fan of Vinny.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I like him.
His jiu-jitsu, I'm a big fan of, but his MMA, just no.
I hear it. It's going to be a great match. I hope they get into a little bit of grappling exchange, but like you said, it's MMA. So once those punches start raining down,
black belt.
Man.
Punch again, brown belt.
Yeah, I know exactly. This is going to be good. All right, guys. So within a couple of minutes, we'll be talking to Samuel Braga. I haven't had a chance yet to check out his new DVD, but I've seen the previews and it looks sick. And you got to wonder how much knowledge more he knows that's not out there for the Berimbolo, since he kind of originated and started with it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get into too much with him and like what he thinks of the Mendez brothers doing it, but they kind of put out videos of like, this is the real Berimbolo, and like you got to wonder like if there's stuff on his, I'm gonna ask him obviously, but like on his DVD that never before seen, because even Keenan's putting out DVDs with Berimbolo defenses and offensive, and so like the modern players are doing it. But
do you play Berimbolo?
I tried it. I learned it, and then I was like obsessed with wanting to nail it live. That's all I cared about.
Yeah.
No, I don't aggressively hunt for them. If I had an opportunity to do it, maybe. But let me just put it this way: I will never try to Berimbolo someone with amazing top game and might smash me. I would feel pretty stupid.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying right now.
Like honestly, like for me, I don't know. I think it's just body type,
Yeah.
Like some people are going to be obviously a lot better with Berimbolos and things like that. But I don't have long legs. I can't do it.
No.
No. Or at least my body doesn't roll that way.
I hear you. I mean, like everyone else, like flavor of the month.
Flavor of the month.
Yeah, like. Nah, I love it. I love watching it. I love it so much. Just, I don't know how effective it is. Like, I saw Joao, what's his name? Joao Mia, the Meow brothers. Joao Mayo or Meow. I'm way off today, man. I'm tired. So I saw him and Gary Tonin go at it, and Tonin just shut down the Berimbolo, and it made for such a different match when it doesn't work, Basically, just one person's just spinning underneath you, like not.
Yeah. I think
if you don't fight it as much, it seems like it didn't work. If people are fighting it, it's a lot easier to manipulate their body. So I don't know.
I want somebody to Berimbolo me.
You?
Yeah. Like
live in a tournament though. You have to get embarrassed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, like, why else would you want to get berimbolo unless you could get embarrassed?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean...
But again, with the gi, right? No gi is a little different.
That's what I was going to say, actually. Let's go back to that. So, no gi, what do you think of that? The berimbolos and the no gi? I find it so strange.
I'm a blue belt, you know, so my word doesn't really matter.
No, but as a spectator...
As a spectator, I think I don't know, it just looks weird.
Yeah.
Like no gi berimbolos, you know. No.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get why you would even bother trying to go for it. It seems like it's not as feasible without grips.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen people do it. I just don't personally like it as much. That's all I'm saying. So anything new with you? I don't get to see you that often, so.
Anything new? Well,
yeah.
Not really, but kind of.
Okay, go on.
Well, it's too early to tell or say, but yeah, I think I got another fight coming.
That's right. That is right. No wonder why you don't want to announce it, eh? Do you find that the pressure's on once you say it? It's for real, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I hope it's not like, you know, how it ended up happening last time.
Yeah, it's just bad luck. You gotta put that to the side now and get to training.
You know, focused. I don't know. I think it's one of those things where you can just, you know, analyze what you did wrong in the past.
Oh, exactly. I mean, what can you do?
So I think it's good. Just want to get it over with, you know. I wanted to do the Pans in New York.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's gonna happen. So.
Is it the same day, by the way?
I think I don't know. I think it's September something.
Yeah. You don't know for sure though, eh?
Siri, when is the Pan Ams?
Oh, just calling Siri here. Yeah. So.
Did you see the new iOS, by the way?
No.
I know
No.
Jiu-jitsu.
I'm sure everyone listening here either has an iPhone or one of the newest Android phones.
Samsung sucks.
But I don't know.
We are not paid by Apple.
I wish Apple hooked us up. If anyone's out there wants to.
You guys want to sponsor us? You know?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know much about that. Oh, but I do know. Since we're doing our radio show live here, I got some stuff to talk about. Caltera was out, and we just the IBJJF now. They just had a couple tournaments out there: the Rome Open, the European No Gis, the Lisbon Open, and Caltera took gold in everything. Won the open weight even.
Yeah.
There's some like alright competition out there. It looked like he had some good matches. I saw. You know, AJ Agamazar won his first couple matches. He won a medal at black belt. He medaled a couple times. So
you know who I've been keeping an eye on lately? Who just got promoted?
Budo Jake?
No.
Oh.
Our
Why'd that make you laugh?
Our main man, or my main man. Well, I guess
no, hold on. Your main man crush.
Main man crush. Yeah.
He's very funny though. Go on.
Mr. Marcelo. No, I'm just kidding. Kid Dale.
Kid Dale. He did just get black belt, so
he got black belt. He's, I don't know, like I've seen this guy's like he's one of the most active guys I think on Facebook and Vine and yeah.
Well, hopefully it pays off.
Break and YouTube and everything. But anyways, yeah, like this guy's competing, like he's beating black belts already, like that have been there a while.
Yeah.
It's like shit. Like how do you? I don't know. As a black belt who's been doing it a while, and then looking at some guy who just got promoted to black belt and losing to him.
Yeah.
It's like shit.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, how's it going? It's Vinny.
Oh, welcome to the show. I was hoping that we didn't have an issue with the time or anything.
No, not a problem. Like, I don't have to do anything until 6, so it's like 4:30 for me right now.
Okay, perfect. So how was your day?
Good. I had a sparring session this morning, then I'm just resting a little bit now. On to the next session.
Nice. And where's Oh my God, folks. All right, this is impromptu here. Just I gotta announce this so people understand. By the way, guys, this is just to make sure who's calling right now so the fans know.
It's Vinny Magalhaes.
Yes, Vinny Magalhaes. This is impromptu, so we never had you scheduled, but you called in. We just had your opponent, Anthony Perosh, on the phone. He broke down a fight with you, and he said he specifically wanted to fight you because you're both black belts, and it'd be a great matchup. What is your take on your fight with him August 3rd, 163 in Brazil?
I do agree with him. If he's willing to do like what he's saying that he's gonna try to do, which is take him to the ground, I think it could be a really good match. As people know, like neither one of us are like great strikers. Even though I feel like even though my game is still developing, I feel like I'm better than him at that. Like as far as results, I think the results count that too. Like he has like 7 losses, which like 6 or knockouts. While like I haven't been knocked out once in my career, and that was with like 6 months of MMA experience. So it's like it's been a while too. That was like 5 years ago, and it's not like him who's gotten knocked out recently. Anyways, I think if he's willing to take the fight to the ground, it's gonna be a great fight. And if he's willing to keep standing, it might be like a 1-5, but I feel like I take the fight there too.
I think it's a dream match for grappling fans personally. And, I asked him if he's concerned about the fact that your credentials and accolades are so high in the grappling world. And he told me it's MMA. So do you think it's true, or do you find that the fact that you've been in ADCC champion and Brazilian, world champion and at black belt level, does it play a factor in MMA, or, do you find it an advantage for MMA, or the fact that there's punching, it really doesn't matter as much?
Well, it does make a little difference, like, of course, like, full grappling match is not the same as MMA, like, you're not getting hit. But at the same time, like, once he hits the ground, like, it's grappling, no matter what people say, like, once he hits the ground, it's going to be grappling. For people that know, the people that has fought, they know that, you cannot be, like, giving up a position to throw a punch. Sometimes if you're going to throw a punch and have the mount, you're going to end up losing the mount. You're not going to take advantage. You're not going to be getting a submission just because you're like, you didn't care about like controlling the position. So when it goes to the ground, whoever's the better guy on the ground usually is going to have the advantage, no matter if it's MMA or not, no matter if it's top position or not. What I noticed, even like, let's say like the best grappler ever, which is Roger Gracie, he was so concerned about being on his back. I was like, why are you concerned? He shouldn't be afraid of going on his back. He's the best guy in the world, and I don't have that problem. Like I feel like Anthony Perosh like saying like, well, if I keep top position, everything changes. Blah blah. It doesn't matter if he goes to the ground. You can have like top, bottom, like no matter what the fight goes. Like he goes to the ground, I'm still the same guy that won HCC. I'm still the same guy that won like world titles. And then like I said, once he hits the ground, it is grappling. The punch don't make any difference. Like that will be making difference for guys that like they're afraid of playing like on their backs. Guys are like afraid of getting hit like once they're grappling. For me, it's like take a hit or two. Like it's part of the game. It has happened to me before. Many fights. Like if you check like all my fights, even with M1, like a bunch of times I was playing my back and I would end up like taking 1 or 2 hits, getting cut and all that. And eventually I would get a sweep. Eventually I would get a submission. So for me, like being on my back, it's just like as good for me as being on top once it hits the ground. And that ADCC title, like those like grappling credentials, they make a huge difference. As much as you want to say that it's a different game, it makes a huge difference. Especially like having a title in ADCC, like there's nothing closer to MMA than like than a grappling title, like world title in grappling, because you're not holding the gear, you're not doing like cross chokes with the gear. It's purely like 2 guys like. Maybe they're gonna have rash guard, but that's not gonna give any extra grip. So it's a total different level.
How do you see this fight going down at UFC 163?
Like here's the thing. Like Anthony is gonna believe it. Like he has to believe in himself as much as I have to believe in myself. But fight experience. Let's go to numbers. He has 20 fights. I do have 20 fights. People might not want to count like the Ultimate Fighter fights. But those are like 3 fights against professional fighters. It's not like, we were amateur fighters trying to get a spot like in a professional league. No, we were all like professional fighters. And I went there, I got 3 finishes in the Ultimate Fighter. And then I have like the other fights out of the Ultimate Fighter, which gives me the same amount of fights as Anthony Perosh. And then you get the finishes. I have the same amount of finishes too. I finished all my fights. 2 submission wins in the Ultimate Fighter, 1 TKO win on the Ultimate Fighter. And then I get all my submissions on my official record. The 2 of my TKOs and in my official record, you have exactly the same amount of fights. And as far as me being finished, I have never been finished as many times as Anthony has been finished. So it's like, I do have the advantage of, I think, wherever the fight goes. I've been to fights that I was able to take my opponents down, getting, submit them on the ground, or, I won, I think 2 of my last fights by TKO, also, 1 hit the ground. So, as far as, every area, I feel top, bottom, getting the takedown, striking, I feel like I have the advantage. So, if I had to make a prediction, I think, I can take him down, submit him on the ground. He wouldn't say that because,
What round?
He's not going to submit me.
What round?
Picking around, it doesn't really matter. But I'm gonna try to do it everything as quick as possible. Here's the thing. I'm not worrying about who I'm fighting at this point. It's not about that fight against Anthony Perosh. It's not him being a really tough fight or being a really easy fight. It's just the way I performed in my last fight. I have to show something. It's not just about getting the win. It's not about going there and maybe boring a decision and get the win. For me, I have to go there and have to perform my best. It's about impress the UFC. It's about, impress the fans. So it's not, I cannot just go there and be thinking about, getting the W. So I feel like I'm going to finish Anthony Perosh. And no matter how the fight goes, I feel like I have the advantage. And I feel like whatever it takes to get a finish, either by knockout or submission, I do have that. I do have for sure more than he does.
Sounds good. I was just wondering, we're going to have to let you go real soon. We have Samuel Braga coming on, but I was just wondering what you feel fighting in Brazil, and does this change the way your emotions get, or your adrenaline or anything compared to fighting in America or anywhere else?
Not at all. Actually, that's going to be my first professional fight in Brazil, and doesn't really change. Because once you're getting there, it's about you and your opponent. That's all you care about. So for me, there's no pressure. There's nothing of saying that you have to win because of the people there around. Now, I feel like I have to win because I have to make sure that I'm going to keep my job, and I have to make sure that I'm going to be impressing the UFC. But other than that, there's no extra pressure. It's just another fight.
All right. Do you think you would come back on maybe after the fight so we could talk again? I got to let you go now, but I can't believe you just called in. That's one of the coolest things that's ever happened on our show, by the way.
I mean, the reason I called was the guy said he's going to take my back and mountain. Is dude, now you're tripping.
Oh.
Back just being extremely. No, you got to be insane. There are things that you could say, yeah, I can land a punch and knock him out. But, those things happen. You see against Henderson Silva, happened this weekend. But, you tell me that you're going to mount me and take my back. Dude, you're just you have to believe in yourself. But come on, there is a limit for everything,
I hear you. Good luck to your fight. Trust me, we're pumped to see it.
All right, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
I will talk to you again soon, hopefully.
All right, later.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Folks, that is ridiculous. Called in because of the mounted or back finish, and man, that was awesome, man. Vinny Magalhaes called in. We're going with Samuel Braga live now. This show does not end, folks.
Hello?
Hello, Samuel?
Yeah, it's Samuel.
You are live on BJJ ADDICT RADIO. Sorry about the little miscommunication for a second. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Amazing. We just had Vinny Magalhaes called in out of nowhere to talk about him and Anthony Perosh fight at UFC 163, and it was a lot of good banter about their BJJ skills. So it was pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. A lot's been going on with you lately, and I was just wondering if you could just break down to everyone. Let's just start with the release of your DVD, so you could get some people could listen and find out more if they don't already know. But can you say how this came about and why you put it out now?
Well, I decided to put a DVD now because a lot of people are talking, and it was always I started moving in 2005 and being developed, in actually 2003, and the black belt, I used the black belt words at 2005. So I decided to put out there, some details and tricks that I don't think everybody ever seen, and try to, show a different side of berimbolo. A lot of people just see one side, like one dimension about it. So I kind of want to open up the game, and you can see all the details. It's not only, there's several details involved, breaking the grips, a lot of transitions involved, and from all different positions you can hit the berimbolo, so it goes far beyond what people just think what it is today.
I was actually going to ask you, I'm glad that you mentioned that. I was going to ask you about if you had some tips and different things that no one's seen before. And since you did answer that, was it hard for you to actually let some of your big secrets go for this position, or were you happy to finally be able to share it with the world now that they're probably ready to listen more than ever?
Yeah, definitely. That's why I brought the DVD out, because, a lot of people, they're missing a lot of details on berimbolo, and a lot of people, some of the guys have been doing lately a lot, they have a little bit of it, but it's like a lot to it beyond that. Like, for example, a lot of people forget to control their hips, the other opponent's hips, and they start getting away from the position, one of the key points, and then they start losing the position, and just getting top, even taking the back.
Yeah. I was wondering, when you started playing around with this, I'm sure it was gi only. What do you think about the people doing it without the kimono on? And did you ever play that game also no gi? And how do you feel the difference between the gi and no gi versions?
The no gi version is more like it's more dynamic, I believe, because it's no gi, and it has the grips are a little bit different, but the concept is the same. Oh. So basically, with the no gi, you have more like to wrap the leg, with your arms, to get a better grip, and as they come down, you go around with your hands on their waist. So this way you keep the position tighter, because no gi is kind of slippery, so you have to get even tighter the position, otherwise you're going to miss it.
Nice. Just so everyone at home knows, where can they purchase this DVD, Samuel Braga's original berimbolo?
Well, you can find the DVD on app. You can actually find the app at the Apple Store, or you can get the Budo Videos, the DVD. I guess I got a lot of great reviews about it, because I break down the berimbolo in sections and parts, and it's really easy to understand on DVD. I just have great, everybody give good reviews about the DVD. Have a lot of people write emails and message over the Facebook. They're really thankful for me to, I show the details. You don't necessarily need to be the most flexible person. I showed things and ways of everybody will be able to do it. Because I have students that are not flexible, and then students that are really big, and all my students, they do it. So you cannot limit yourself to just thinking that, because it's flexible and limber. That's not such a thing.
Everyone knows Samuel Braga as the berimbolo. Can you take us through how you got into jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, I got into jiu-jitsu more like a self-defense, and also at the time it was like high school. In Brazil, it's a really stressful when you're in high school, because you have to do the SATs, and SATs in Brazil are like a big deal. So at the time, I was getting really stressful about it. I wanted to have an outlet for all of my stress, and also good self-defense. And at the time, I was watching UFC, and watching UFC, I could see that jiu-jitsu was a really great self-defense, because watching at the time Royce Grace, be able to beat the heavier, stronger guys was, for me, the solution, for all basically the problem between, the between having a bigger opponent or a big person trying to bully you, trying to bully you somehow, you know.
Nice. And who was your main teacher or instructor, professor, coming up the ranks?
Oh, it was Draculino.
And how amazing...
Vinnie Magalhaes, Draculino.
Yeah, how amazing is it to learn from someone like Draculino? He's been on our show before. He seems like a wonderful man. How was it learning from him?
I was really blessed, you know. I have to say this, you know. I started with Eric Magalhaes, was his student as a white belt, and then, you know, as soon as I got my blue belt, you know, Eric and I talked, and to get to my next level, you know, have a lot of good guys training Draculino. Plus, he's a great instructor. You know, we decided I will train with Draculino and him, and I was really fortunate and blessed to have Draculino as instructor. You know, beside of that, you know, have a great character. He's have a noble soul, and he's really, you know, beside all the great things, you know, as a person, and he's a great instructor. So I was really blessed, you know, to have him as instructor.
Do you feel like your game evolved and the Berimbolo came because of the way he taught, or do you think you would have did that no matter how you came up the jiu-jitsu ranks?
I think, like, I started the Berimbolo is for the fact that, like, when Draculino and Eric showed me how to get the back from the De La Riva, and I always was in a position, you know, being a smaller guy, being the smallest guy in the gym, and I was really flexible, so I always end up in inverted guard and inverted positions because everybody's trying to smash me. So, and I started doing the Berimbolo. Even before that, I was doing a lot of inverted guard, and, you know, I was doing a lot of De La Riva. And I was always, you know, when the guy do the back step, I was rolling on my shoulder and getting the sweep from there. But every time I would do like how may I say, I would trap the arm. As I trap the arm, and I roll back. I roll back on my shoulder and I finish the position, you know. Okay. As a sweep. And then I start from there, people start to hide in the arm, so I could not reach the arm, and I'll get stuck in the position for a long time and I'll be inverted. So I try to find a solution where instead of roll back, I'll kick them forward and exposing their back. That's how I come up with the Berimbolo.
Nice.
In 2003 as a purple belt. In
2003, was it called the Berimbolo? That's part one. And two, does Berimbolo mean anything, or is it just a word? Because I have no idea. It's just you know, it's a Portuguese word, you know, that the guys was kind of bring it up because, you know, as you know, if you see the Berimbolo motion, it's just like a, you know, because bolo means like a cake. You know, in Brazil, it's hard to translate in English because Berimbolo means bolo is like a, you know, like you mixing the cake. When you mix the cake, it's like rolling, right? Like doing like a circular motion. Yeah. It's just like in the Berimbolo, it's like a circular motion that you do with your hips and yourself, right? So that's why the bolo means like you're mixing the cake in a circular motion as you do the sweep. Nice. Thank you for that's awesome. I never knew what the heck it meant. I was wondering, how does it feel to be such a accomplished world champion, and to actually, it's one thing to win the worlds, but how does it feel to win it at the highest level, black belt level, like all your tournaments at that level also? Yeah, it's really gratifying as you know, as an athlete. You know, first thing, you know, when you're a white belt, that's like your goal. You know, one day get a black belt and be a world champion. That's like everybody's, when they start jiu-jitsu, it's like a dream for them, you know. And the first thing when I was a white belt, the first thing I told my friends was like, I will be a world champion black belt. And most of them did not believe it. And I kept, you know, I knew that I was going to, you know, I'll do everything, work hard, train hard, all the sacrifice that I did. You know, a lot of people think that to be a world champion, you know, is hard. Yes, it is, because, you know, the people ask, what's the recipe? The recipe is really simple. You know, anything in life to excel on, you have to have discipline, work hard, and dedication.
those are the key points in success in anything you do in life. Not only in jiu-jitsu, anything you want to excel in your life, you have to have discipline, you have to put a hard work, have dedicate yourself, and sacrifice. If you think you're going to achieve anything without sacrifice and all those, you might be fooling yourself, or you must be the most talented guy. Even if you're the most talented person, you're not going to achieve your best if you don't put hard work.
What do you think has been the hardest obstacle that you've faced so far?
I think that, I think everybody goes to obstacles in life and on the mats or anything. That's one's going to separate the champion and a regular guy, or a mediocre person. That's what separates the successful person and the regular person is when the obstacles come in, you have to face them and get stronger not back off, You have to go and push it forward. That through my jiu-jitsu, I have several things. I have injuries, I have like personal problems. Everybody has those. So I just have, just kept moving forward.
Right. You're famous for obviously the berimbolo, and that stems from De La Riva guard. What drew you to those positions so much? And is there another positions? What are some other ones that you really do love that you might not showcase as much?
Well, I work in everything basically at the gym because I want to understand every single aspect of the jiu-jitsu so I can transfer that to my students. So I work in every single guard. But my main goal and my A game is basically the De La Riva, berimbolo, and other moves from that guard, that position. But I try to understand the jiu-jitsu in general. I play 50-50. I play X-guard. I play a little bit everything, especially I mix a lot of 50-50 with my berimbolo and X-guard. I think you have to have a really broad understanding because you never know you're going to end up in a half guard sometime, but you have to understand, and even to pass the guard, you have to have to be there to know the weakness and strength of each position.
Can you share, like offhand, in competition, who was your favorite person that you've ever berimboloed?
The what?
Who was in competition, jiu-jitsu competition, is there one person that stands, as one of your favorite person to ever berimbolo?
I think I believe was the key moment. I think was when my first world championship that I won as a black belt. I think was one of the most exciting moments because it was the last 30 seconds at the match, and I pulled up the berimbolo. That was, I think, was the most excitement moment. And actually, I gave up to take the back because I could not believe it because I was I wanted to get the points because at that point, if I get the points, I would win. So I went to berimbolo, and I could get the back, and I was just man, I'm just going to get the position, make sure that I don't go back on bottom, otherwise, it would just have 20 seconds left, 30 seconds left. So I got the points, and I was really happy with it.
Man, that must have been
the first time
that must have been so exciting to nail it that late in the match.
Yeah, it was really awesome. And also in 2008, the finals was the same thing. It was two advantages for me and one advantage for the guy. And Draculino was on my corner. He's 1 minute left, sweep him. And I got the berimbolo towards the end. And I got another. And I focused so much and finished the guy. He didn't tap, but I got the advantage for it.
Nice. I'm wondering if we could shift a little bit to your side of instructing, and what does it mean to have a Gracie Barra team to you?
Well, to me, it's basically I think it's part of the course to be an athlete, and the next steps to be an instructor. and to continue the legacy of the Gracie Barra, and especially the Gracie Barra being a Gracie Barra black belt under Grappling, and of course under Carlos Gracie Jr. Keep the legacy alive to make a successful team. To keep it, I want to have a strong team here as well as Draculino has his. So I want to make a world champions as Draculino did. So because Draculino is, to me, one of the most successful instructors, because in every single generation, he made champions. So to me, that means a lot, And he always, always thoughtful, he was beyond an instructor, he's like a father figure to everybody, at the Gracie Barra, Belo Horizonte, and, his students. He always there for other students, he is an amazing guy, so I just have to thank him and thank the Gracie Barra family, so I want to share that to my students as well.
What's the most important, as an instructor, what's the most important thing a student can have that will make them a world champion, whether it be at a lower belt or higher belt? Is there something you see in somebody that you could take this person to another level?
Well, I think so. I think, for example, I think Custamaro once has a quote on Custamaro. I think it's one of my favorites. I think he says about, maybe Mike Tyson was when he's the most accomplished athlete. And he said that because boxing, you start really early in your career, and when you see the student, when they come with you with the desire to be a champion, they come and start with the sparks. You have the sparks, you basically, feed the spark to become a flame, and that flame become a roaring blaze. So the students always come with some students come with a desire to be a champion, and you have to be beside of train them and teach them technique. You have to give them. You have to feed that desire of. If they already have the desire to be a champion, to be successful in jiu-jitsu, you have to make sure that not only technique-wise, but mentally make them stronger, in every aspect.
Nice. I'm wondering, I was having a debate with one of my friends today, and we're talking about what it takes for a white belt to reach the next stage of blue belt. I'm wondering what your take is on that. Do they have to know a set of moves, or do they have to be able to actually beat or tap out blue belt? What's your reasoning for giving someone their blue belt? And what do they need to know?
It's hard to actually set a standard, because everybody's different. You have people that you actually set make a pattern to, because jiu-jitsu is really subjective. That's why it's called art. Some people are going to develop and take jiu-jitsu in a way, some people in a different way. But I believe that at least that you have to know is the fundamental part of jiu-jitsu. The fundamental part, that what I mean is the basic, which is to me, jiu-jitsu is involving so much right now that if you ask me what's the fundamentals now, beyond all the escape, mount escape, side control escape, and all the basic chokes and arm bars, et cetera, how it is. I think now, if you think about it, knowing the base of half guard is kind of fundamental. Know a little bit of the open guard is fundamental to me now, because you're just involving. What's fundamental to me now, back then, the standard was different, at least for me. So that's why I think it's subjective now. I teach my students all their white belts, not only the fundamental, what's this essence of jiu-jitsu, but a little bit beyond that, because jiu-jitsu is involving so much that I think it's really important for them to understand a little bit more. and of course the philosophy behind, because you just not only martial arts. I think it's a lifestyle. I want them to understand the lifestyle, because it can make them a better person in every single aspect of the game. And I think have those understanding, that's a fundamental part of jiu-jitsu. A lot of people focus on... Oh, man. Hello?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. I'm sorry. So I think, like, the instructor, when I have my student, he's a blue belt, I want them to love jiu-jitsu like I do. You know? Because I want them to, that's the first step to a black belt. I want them to have that lifestyle with philosophy carry with them. I think that's important too.
What do you think has, carried you this far into the sport and made you as successful? What quality does it take to be where you're at?
I think, like, you have to be. I'm really driven by goals, and I think a lot of people need goals in life, and to keep moving forward. Some people have different goals. Like some people are like, oh man, just keep myself in shape. People have different goals. You have to set the goal. If you set the goal, always keep moving goals by goals. Step by step. My goals from the beginning was to be a world champion as a black belt, but now. Then I was like, man, I want to see how many world championships I can win. And then I have a different goal now that besides, prove myself, test myself every day in every tournament. I want to make my students world champions. So I think now, train every day, get myself ready. I improve my jiu-jitsu so this way my students can get what I apply on the mat. What I apply on tournaments, and decide the mindset and lifestyle that I want to share with them.
Nice. I find it kind of funny that you've been playing around with this for so many years, and it's now kind of the hottest thing to catch on to jiu-jitsu in a while, the Berimbolo. I'm just wondering, do you find it crazy when you go see tournaments and white belts are nonstop doing this? Is that going to be normal, you think, or is it just shocking to see that they're actually good enough to play that game?
I think it's awesome because it's part of the evolution. I think the sport's evolving so much and so quick after it came to States. And so I think watching the white belts, blue belts, everybody doing it just prove that jiu-jitsu is evolving quick and fast, and I think that's necessary, and I think that's what jiu-jitsu, it's an art, because how it's evolving. As long as people are like always stepping up at the game, like just if you think about it, like a white belt 10 years ago it's not as technical like one of today, And I watch my students, blue belts here, and watch their game. They pretty much do all the moves basically the black belts do nowadays. But of course, the details and accuracy of the techniques are different because they're blue belts. But the technical level nowadays are so far from what it was, 10 years ago.
That's a great point. I'm just wondering, do you find or do you think that you'll ever come out with more instructionals, considering that this one has been getting such great reviews and people really appreciate your attention to details?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I already have some ideas that I think that is going to step up the game, a little bit.
Can you do some breaking news? Can you share maybe some breaking news, what kind of ideas this is with us?
Yeah. I think probably, something involving, maybe I'll do something like passing a little bit, because, not passing, but how to deal with the that whole game, or work a little bit beyond that, show more things from the berimbolo that I have also, on my sleeves, some tricks. So I have a couple ideas, and I have been playing a lot with new things. So always trying to improve, study the game and get a little bit beyond on that aspect. But I have some new tools and new things that are coming up.
Nice. Other than yourself, who's somebody's berimbolo that you actually enjoy watching? Who's really good at it, you think, these days?
I think like nowadays, I believe the kids that are coming up now, actually they got the black belts, the Miao brothers.
Yeah.
They do that really well, and they have like different angles and different things that they do on the berimbolo. And I think they're really dedicated. They train a lot. They train all day, and really gratifying watching them how persistent they are, and how much hard work they put on the mats. Because I remember watching them as a blue belt, and if you guys, I don't know if you guys know about the story behind them. They left their family. They sacrificed so much for the sport and for the love of the sport. And I kind of admire them on that aspect too, because I did the same thing, when I came to States. And they're really humble kids, and they're really, respectful. And they really treat everybody with real respect. So I think they're really good kids, and they have a lot of, they have a bright future ahead.
Last question. Have you ever been berimboloed?
Man, I'm good in defending that, to be honest with you. So far, I've been doing a good job defending. I have some tricks how to defend it, and how even taking the back from when they try to do berimbolo on me.
Damn, that's
so being
awesome.
Fortunate on that aspect.
Nice. Before we let you go, I was just wondering if you could tell people how they can keep in touch with you, maybe your social medias, websites, whatnot.
Okay, if you want to get in touch with me, you have a website. It can be, Samuel Braga BJJ or gbnox.com. gbnox probably be easier for them to memorize. gbnox, Noxo. And also they can reach me on Facebook. It's Samuel Braga. If it's full, it's Samuel Braga GB. On Twitter, Samuel Braga GB. So it's pretty easy, it's straightforward. And really excited to probably compete next week and next year, and all those young kids, and prove myself one more time, and probably gonna release something soon or next year or so. After we're gonna talk to Budo Videos, because they did a really good job on my DVD and app. Really happy with all the results. So probably if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna work with them again. Budo Jake is a really nice guy. Budo Videos, they do a great job in spreading the jiu-jitsu. What they've been doing for jiu-jitsu is amazing. So I'll be working with them. Especially Budo Jake, I like him a lot.
He's been on our show. Great guy. Unfortunately, we'd have to let you go. Time is running out. I'm just wondering, maybe we could get you back on next time you release your DVD. We'll get the word out again.
Oh, that sounds great. Thanks so much for the opportunity. It was great. Great show.
Man, it was awesome talking with you. Next time.
Thank you so much for what you're doing for the jiu-jitsu community.
Thank you very much, and can't wait to see you compete. Hopefully, we see some videos for floating around after your competition.
All right, sounds great.
All right, enjoy your night.
Have a great night. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. All right, Gerald, well, that was jam-packed.
Oh, smart. Yeah, okay, first of all, let's recap on what the hell just happened today.
If we have time to recap, break it down real quick.
First, Anthony Perosh.
Yes.
2, Vinnie Magalhaes.
Yeah.
3, Samuel Braga.
Ridiculous. All over the world.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Funny how, we said that anyone that comes on our show ends up becoming successful.
Yeah, I told people that, yeah.
So I guess it balances out now that, Vinnie Magalhaes called in. So now I'm just confused.
Yeah. But at least you didn't tell him also that you thought he was going to win. So that would have made you look stupid.
I hope he doesn't have to rewind.
Yeah. Hopefully he didn't hear that about you. That was Gerald LP, by the way, who claimed Perosh will win. So we'll see. All right, we gotta stop this show, man. I could have talked to all three of them forever, so it was kind of pretty jam-packed. I'm still on a high, guys. I feel like I drank 10 coffees. Tune in next week. We actually got Samuel. Actually, it's coming up soon. It's Samir Chantre, and I can't think of the other people right now. We're gonna stop the show, guys. That's it. No more room. My head's gonna fucking explode soon. Sorry about swearing. Have a good night.
Peace. Hang tight, dudes.
I like the peace.
Jesus.